Once again, we are in civics class. I hope you are fine. Okay. Today we are going to discuss about civics chapter 4, key elements of democratic government. Now, in the last chapter, we talked about what is government and the various types of governments that we have discussed. One of the type of the government is the democratic government. As the name suggests, is the government by the people, and government is finally answerable to the people. Now, what are the major elements of the democratic government? So, in simple terms, that we can say there are 8 primary elements on which a democratic government is being established. So the first is the individual freedom or personal freedom. Then we have political freedom, political equality. Then have all political, basically all kind of political groups and equal rule of the law. The law and the orders is followed. Then whatever is done, if for a common good or a common welfare, allowing human dignity, so that where apartheid comes in, being informed and being involved, that is very important. So the right to information. So since we have right to information, we are saying we are being informed and we are getting involved, and therefore we need right to information. And finally is respect. The respect for an individual property, respect for self. All these come under the final pillar of the democratic governments. So any democratic government is made or has a foundation on these 8 pillars. And based on that, we say you are working for the welfare of the society. Now, the first thing is in this chapter to understand what is apartheid. Apartheid that have been a common since the days of British adventuring, entering the various corner of the world. Now this apartheid technically means that separating people, separating groups based on the races. So now I would say in South Africa, when the apartheid movement started, it was basically distinguishing people as blacks, as white, as the color of the Indian races. So that was the distinction. Nelson Mandela was the first person who under the African National Congress fought for the right and said apartheid should be abolished. He became and he was the first to release or to walk around the movement in such a great figure. And finally, in 1994, South Africa became a democratic nation. Now, what kind of differences were there? So, when it comes to differences, there were separate hospitals for whites, there were separate roads for blacks, there were ambulances which were well occupied for the whites. That was not the case for the blacks. The local language was Zulu that the black had to speak, and the Afrikaans was the one of the language that the whites should speak, and the people from the black origin were not allowed to use that as one of the languages. So these were the some of the small example, and I would say this is the small example we could trace, but tracing this small example is not to explain how big the issue was. It was basically a fight for respect, fight for dignity that led to a movement not only in the part of South Africa. Now again is the conflict and resolving conflict. So that's again key aspect of democratic government. To understand the conflict, now conflict can be about anything. A conflict can be between two people or things. When it comes to the nation, it can be as big as rivers. It can be on the ideas of religion. It can be on the basis of regions. So separating Telangana from Andhra Pradesh can be one of the aspects. So it is regional issue. Then we have a religious issue like separating India and Pakistan. That was based on the religion aspect. Then have a kind of river sharing. So the Kaveri river that runs through the three states of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. But ultimately throughout the world, and there was a kind of revolution that was acquired, that was mainly through the participation forces. Now how did the people participated? So let's say example, fight against corruption. What was the basic idea that Anna Hazare started? It was with the dharna or with the right to have an access to the Lokpal or working around the Lokpal. So what we are trying to say under participation, we are participating by various forms. It could be form of rallies, it could be a form of protest, it could be form of dharnas, strikes, signature campaign, through TV, through social networking, through newspapers. So these are the some of the ways through which we try to participate and we try to bring people for the mass movement. However, the most important part of participation is voting. So people vote and they vote for the elected leaders. Once the leaders are elected, these leaders represent the people who have voted for them. These representation, the behalf of the people, take the various decisions. When they are taking these decisions, they are considering the voice of the people. So they are considering what the people want, what the people are looking for. Any government, any kind of democratic government has the working period. In India, this period is 5 years, and in United States, it is for 4 years. Every 5 years in India, we would have the election and then would have re-election. So the same person can be elected by for the next term and all. And we would be decided based on the election process. And these states can't get as much water as they need for people in their states. This leads to conflicts. So the central government has to take initiative that a fair distribution is worked out for the states. And another form of conflict can be discrimination. So discrimination can be based on caste, creed, religion. All those again lead to conflict. So the basic idea for the government is, a democratic government is resolve these conflicts. When we talk about resolving the conflict, the most important thing is making the law and the order. Making the laws, enforcing the laws and seeing that justice is flowed to each corner. So, equality and justice again became the pillar for a democratic government. So, as we see the equality and justice which are important for a democratic government, again when it comes to minority groups, when it comes groups with children with special needs, women, tribal groups, we have special provisions that should be released. The example is in our society there is a general tendency that value the care for the boy child more than the girl child. This means that the society does not give equal or consider the boy and girl as equal. So the government must take further steps to overcome from it. And step or give and consider and see them as equal. So with this I conclude this chapter. Have a nice day. Thank you.